Welcome back to the channel. Today I've got something we haven't had on the channel in quite some time. It's a 2023 i4 M50. It is of course finished in Brooklyn Gray. This was a customer ordered car and they backed out. So we have a sibling of this one also available. Couldn't get that one out, but it has the Oyster interior rather than what we're going to see here is Tacora Red. So BMW's had quite an issue or problem producing these i4 M50s. A lot of the pre-orders, they were delayed a lot. And I think we still have a few inbound that were pre-orders that were quote-unquote promised summer delivery of 2022. That obviously did not happen. There have been numerous delays on building these things and even getting allocations for the i4 M50. We knew that going in that this would be the lower volume seller. And you get more of the eDrive 40s, which was the case and is the case still. I think problematic is BMW has also introduced a new variant of the i4, the eDrive 35, which has a smaller battery, less range on the 40, and I don't think anyone really knows about that. And that's an issue because we basically have a ton of those allocations, but nothing on the i4 M50. Very few allocations coming through to fill up our order bank orders. But if you don't know, so this one's got up to 536 horsepower and 586 torques. And that's with the boost. Without boost, it's 469 horsepower and 538 torques, I believe. So plenty of power in the i4 M50. And if you had the chance to go to the Ultimate Driving Experience this past spring and fall, you had the chance to drive one of these on the sort of little autocross course. I think what really stands out is this car really handles really well, given that it's really heavy. But it's a blast to drive. It handles like a BMW. Let's talk about this one in particular. So up front, you can see we do not have our laser lights. Now excuse the blinking on there. That's more of the frame rate going on here. So the parking lights are on, otherwise the car is going to be completely off. Shadow line lights as well. I think the lasers would be the way to go on the i4 M50. So M badging on the faux grille. And the 50th anniversary BMW M emblems as well. An optional add-on to the i4 M50. I believe that goes away with February production, I want to say. So moving over to the side, we have the Style 859M wheels, bi-color, with the red M Sport calipers, part of the Shadow Line package. And then we've got our M style mirror caps. So this is the G26 chassis. This is essentially the same as the gas-powered 4 Series Grand Coupe, but electrified. There's a little bit difference, I think, in height as well. But, you know, overall, a not bad design. I think it was a little bit more swoopy and lower. I think it'd be fantastic. Sort of think of it like the 6 Series Grand Coupe, how that looked in comparison to the 4 Series Grand Coupe and even now the 8 Series Grand Coupe. But out back, we've got our tail lights. Look really nice. Standard 4 Series tail lights. And our diffuser, faux diffuser down here. And sort of like cutouts where the exhaust tips would be. And our lovely 50th anniversary BMW M emblems on the back. We'll take in our Brooklyn Gray. So this one, the i4 M50, has the 84 kilowatt hour battery, roughly 84 kilowatts. Usable, I think, is around 80-ish. So default range for the M50, 272 horsepower with the 19-inch wheels. And if you were ordering the 20-inch wheels, which are currently not available, the range drops to about 227 miles. But, you know, decent range, extreme power, and BMW handling. What's not to love about that, right? So, door handles flush, as I locked the car accidentally. Flush with the body work. So reminiscent of the E36, E31, and I think also the E38-7 series. So opening up, we have the Turquoise Red Vernasca leather, with a little bit of contrast stitching there as well. You can see our side bolster adjuster, lumbar support, our normal seat controls. Here's how our seats look. They look pretty good. Standard than what you get on the 4 Series Grand Coupe, so no changes there. Of course, at least for now, the big difference is iDrive 8. So our iDrive 8 instrument panel. Another iDrive 8 curved display. Now some of you will say this is tacked on, but I think it's really been the case with the iDrive screens that they've been sort of tacked on anyway. At least going back to the early 2010s. So the trim is the oak matte wood finish trim, which looks pretty good, but also blends into the Sensitech dashboard. Gear selector here, normal, sort of what you'd find on the regular 4 Series. I imagine this goes away with the LCI. And blue highlights around it signifying BMW I. Everything else is very similar. So you do have the parking assistance package. Which is an option on the i4 M50. It did disappear on the i4 eDrive 40 for quite some time, and I think only recently came back. It might have been for December or January production. Might have been a little bit earlier than that. But that went away for some time, as well as the driving assistance professional package. Always been available on the i4 M50, not so on the i4 eDrive 40. All right, so let's talk about pricing and options. So starting price, the i4 M50, $67,300, $650 for the metallic paint, another $1,500 for the leather. Driving Assistance Pro, another $1,700. Shadowline package for $400, $700 for the parking assistance package. Premium package for $1,700, at least for the i4 M50. So that premium package gets you the heads-up display. Otherwise, on the eDrive 40, it's an option, even with the premium package. $200 for the emblems, $100 for the drive recorder, another $200 for the wireless device charging, another $875 for the Harman Kardon sound system. All told, MSRP of $76,320. So, not bad. Of course, also does not qualify for any federal rebates because it's not built in the United States. The battery's not sourced here as well. Let's go over a few things in the iDrive. We can talk about the driving settings. So that's in apps, and then you can go to vehicle apps to narrow it down even more. And you can change how the energy recovery in drive mode changes. By default, I believe it's going to be adaptive, but you can change it to high, medium, and low. Meaning you can have it sort of mimic the B mode, depending on what you'd like to do. You'll get more energy recovery in B mode than you would in D, regardless of how much energy recovery you choose. All right, so other things to note on charging. So you want to make sure when you're going to a DC fast charger that you precondition the battery. So make sure you do that. What you can also do is use the iDrive BMW navigation system to basically navigate to a DC fast charger. That way the system knows that you're going to be DC fast charging. So save that as a favorite, or go in here and activate it once, so you can get the maximum possible charging rate of the DC fast charger. Of course, that's going to vary based upon the output of the particular fast charger. But let's take a look at the back seat. All right, so back seat, the door, its opening isn't as wide as the front door, so that can be a little bit problematic for taller and larger passengers. As a rear passenger, otherwise you're going to knock your head on there. But in terms of leg room, you are pretty good, depending on how tall your driver or passenger is. This is the seat set in my position where I will be driving, so not too bad. In terms of headroom, it's a little bit compromised, but not too bad. And here's your view from the back seat with the panoramic moonroof open. You do have some climate controls back here as well for the back seat passengers. So it's not a terrible place to be, but obviously may or may not be comfortable for a long haul trip. All right, we'll take a look at the trunk, and we'll even pop the hood here to see what the i4 M50 looks like. All right, so one of the issues with early production of 23 was the removal of the kick to open. That is back on the vehicle. So trunk space, not too bad. And then underneath, you do have a little bit of storage, but if you order the Harman Kardon sound system, it's taken up by this little device here. And over to your left, you got your flexible fast charging system. You also have adapters, so this is an NEMA 1450. You also have 110 volt charging as well. Wouldn't recommend using that at all. All right, we'll pop the hood as well, so let me work my way to the front here. So you can do it on the i4, but you can't do this on the iX. So obviously there's not a lot to look at under the hood here of the i4 M50. We'll take one more walk around the i4 M50. So it is dual motor, meaning all-wheel drive. So motor over the front, motor over the rear axle, providing gobs of power and torque. But hopefully you guys had a chance to drive one of these at the Ultimate Driving Experience. You can see sort of like a font change here in cerium gray as well. The M is much bigger than the 50. Also shows up on the 7 series as well. But in terms of fast charging, you do have Electrify America. You get 2 years of access of free 30-minute sessions. Now you can do that multiple times a day. The only caveat is that you will have to wait 60 minutes between charging sessions. But pretty good access. I think depending on the speed of the fast charger, you can get 90 miles of range in about 10 minutes. In about 35-ish minutes, you get from 10 to 80% charge. But that's it for a quick tour around the i4 M50, and we'll see you at the next video.